everybody, welcome to another episode of Bob's Woodshop. Today we got something really special. We're doing a reproduction of this antique. This antique is from my wife's grandmother, and we believe it's about 150 years old. And I always admired the craftsmanship on this. So this video is part two of a two-part section where my buddy Jay over at Moving Chips did some of the turnings. His channel is primarily a turning channel, and I do a variety of things, different woodworking things on my channel. So we decided that he was going to do the turnings on this, and I was going to do the rest of the flat work. So Jay did the finial and the column and the towel bar here, and I did the rest. So before you watch my video, please click on the link below and watch Jay's video on how he did these turnings. And then come back to this, and I'll show you how I made this today. Thanks for tuning in today. So here's a closer look of this. Again, I said this is roughly 150 years old. And it's got plenty of detail. I've always admired this. This has been in our house for about 35 years. And the craftsman did this a spectacular job. Spent a lot of time on this. And then Jay and I did a little bit of artistic license, but primarily we did a pretty good job of reproducing this. So I think the original is oak, and I also made the new one out of oak along with Jay. So hang in there. Let me show you how we did it. Okay, time to go raid the wood pile. I think I got some oak here that I could use. Yeah, this should be able to get that sassafras. I'll grab a piece of oak. Let's see if that works. And 4 3/16. And this one is 3 5/8. Okay, so the bottom piece is 4 3/8 and 18 inches long, and the one on the top is 3 11/16. So I'm going to go ahead and rip them now. I always like putting my blade just a little bit above the wood. Okay, so we got a little tricky part here with this bead, right? And this bead is over here as well, right here, and we got 2 of them here. Now we don't have the exact molding head for this, but what we are going to do, I came over to my buddy Craig's shop, and we're going to use this bit in order to recreate that bead. Nice. Okay. So that'll work out, and I'm just going to trim that little piece off, and we're golden. Okay, so these beads are a little bit bigger, maybe 50% bigger than these beads. And I don't want this big kerf right here, so I'm gonna cut that out. Okay, so now that I got the beads, I'm gonna run a dado or groove through here and inset that inside of there. It'll be looking like that. Okay, so I need to make a template, and I'm just going to trace this on some cardboard. And I'll cut this out and clean this up on the bandsaw. So it should be easy. These are also a little long. I got to cut these down to right here. Okay, there's the original. And here's how this is shaping up. Got that detail there. And now I'm going to do this interior piece like that. So I need some 1-inch strips now. And I like putting my blade just above the surface. Even though I have a saw stop now, I'd rather just better be safe than sorry. I have to do a half lap joint here, so I've set up the saw in order to get this like this, and I'm going to go through and do some nibbling away on this. These are scrap pieces. Okay, now that I got one side cut, I've set up the saw to cut the other side. I snuck up on that. Once I get this done, I'll be able to just hog that out by moving the fence. Okay, when making lap joints, it's a really good idea to use some sample pieces. So just to make sure that you're dialed in right. So that's what I get these extra pieces on here for. So now that I got the one side on these, I got this set up now to do the other end. And then from there, I'm just going to hog this out. Okay, I already dabbed a little glue on and spread it. And I'm just going to let this dry overnight. Wunderbar! Okay, so it's the next morning. It's a little chilly out here. And I got this frame glued up, and I'm going to start routing it with a cove bit. in order to match that cove there. Okay, the next piece is going to be this little bin that's in there. This is a little container area, and I've already started this first front piece. So I got to cut a couple grooves in here in order to put some of this beading in here. Gotta get that squeeze out. Okay, so I ripped this to 2 3/8, and I'm gonna I've set this for 10 degrees. I'm gonna do that on each side and then cut it to length. Okay, so this dimension here is 2 1/4, and I've set up a stop block here in order to get both sides. Small piece like this, you want to keep the blade down, otherwise it's going to flip out of there. If I raised that blade right now, this would have flipped out of there and become a projectile. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to make this piece and this piece over again. I'm going to do that on the lathe. Okay, I'm going to try this old turner's trick. I'm going to put this little piece right here, and I don't have any double-sided tape, so I'm going to try to do this with CA glue, and hopefully this sticks. Definitely going to be using my face shield for this one. And I marked an X marks a spot on here so I can get that perfectly centered. And from here I can turn it. Okay, so I got this nice and rounded off now. I'm going to put a couple beads in. Where's that face shield? Okay, this is apt to crack, so I'm just going to put one big bead in there. Okay, I think this is going to work. Okay, so I trimmed up those extra pieces on this front shelf, and I gotta make this part here, and I'm afraid to drill into this, so I'm just gonna do that on the sander. Okay, that's what this is looking like. So a little cleanup on that, and we can start making the rest of the bin. Okay, so that's the front. So, like I said before, this is a 10-degree angle on here. So I've got to match that, and I've moved my table saw to 10 degrees, and I'm going to cut that edge now. Okie dokie. All right, got this little sub-assembly here. This is this little bin. And before I wrap it up for today, I'm just gonna glue that onto here. So I gotta find the center of both of these pieces. And if you don't know about it, get one of these center finding rules. It's really good. So you just put it at 0 and then get it down to the, let's see. So right now I'm at like 9. All right, just right at 9 on both sides and draw a center line. Okay, so I'm going to be using these bean bags, heating bags that my wife uses. These are full of rice, and I'm going to weigh it down with these. And then, yeah, I'm done for the day, and that's it. Okay, I started this project on Thursday, and right now it's Saturday morning, and I'm thinking about the glue up, and I want to make sure everything goes together well. And I was thinking about how to do this glue up strategy. I think I'm just going to clamp it right down to here on the workbench. Got to make sure this is aligned up just right and square. And I think we're good with this. Okay, so obviously I can't put a clamp over here, but what I can do is put some weight on it. And I think that'll be good. And then what I'll do in a few hours, I'm going to flip this around and put some staples in, actually some pin nails in through the back. Okay, so I traced the towel bar holder, and I'm just going to trace this out on this piece of wood here. Another little piece of oak. And take this over to the bandsaw and cut those out there. Okay, so I cut these out on the bandsaw, my little bandsaw, and I put a little coving bit on here and went through around here. So now I got 2 of these and ready to put these onto the project. Okay, I marked the spots for the holes. I got a right and a left. Okay, I got these little bar holders on now. And I got to go over and get a piece of mirror for the center here. Okay, I'm almost done. I just got to make these leaf details here. So I cut a couple of these out on the bandsaw, and I could do a little bit of sculpting and carving. Okay, I am by no stretch of the imagination any type of carver. So I was trying some of my wood line as a fishtail carving tool. There's another one from Flex Cut, and what I'm having some success with is this one from Ryobi. Okay, so after a couple minutes, I got them pretty smooth. Used some files and my saber tooth round ball, and I just got to put the veins in it. Okay, it's time for a little gluing and pin nailing. I love my pin nailer. I use this on most of my flat projects one way or another. Okay, so we're done the construction portion of the project. We're all done with that. And I counted up, we've got 27 pieces into this. I've got a inset here to put the mirror. I'm gonna pick that up tomorrow. And now I'm ready to do the staining process. So this is some Varathane water-based golden oak stain. Now they actually say don't put this on with a brush, but I got so many intricate pieces in here, I'm gonna have to. I don't really think I can get into that with rags for all this. And it goes on nice and dark. I tried it on a sample piece. And then when you wipe it off, it's a little bit more golden. Okay, that took about a half hour to do this. All these little nooks and crannies and crevices, and it's certainly well worth it. This is the color that I was going for. This is the first time I've used a water-based stain, and it actually feels to me like it's an oil-based stain, because it's kind of thick even though I stirred it up real good. So I'm going to let this dry for a few hours, and then I'm going to hit it with some satin polyurethane. Alrighty then, coming down to the home stretch. I'm going to put some satin lacquer on this from Mohawk. I got it stretched out on this piece of wood so I can get the front and the back. And certainly don't want to brush something like this because there's, again, so many nooks and crannies in this thing. Okay, that's a wrap for another episode of Bob's Woodshop in collaboration with Moving Chips. Here's another view of the original and all that detail that craftsman did 150 years ago. And here's the new version. And overall, I'm very impressed with both the work that Jay did and what I did. I think it was a pretty good reproduction. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. And you guys know the drill. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you go back to Jay's original part 1 of this series and see the work that he did. So until next time, bye-bye.